Good morning. It's Tuesday. That means it's Training Tuesday. I'm Suzanne Castle, creator and founder of the Sparkle Factor. And here at Sparkle Factor headquarters, we are all about helping you align this with that, meaning that you take everything that's going on inside of you and you unleash it in the world in a positive, goal focused, mojo making magic kind of a way so that you can serve not only yourself, but those that you love, your clients, your business to reach your extraordinary dreams. Today is a little bit different in our training segment. Normally, we spend 10 minutes or less with a topic, a training kind of a thing. And this is kind of like it, but here's what we're doing. Today, I want to talk about 3 reads that should be on your shelf, meaning that they're not electronic because you come back to them again and again and again. You're going to see just how worn these are in my world in just a minute. So I'm going to quickly cover 3 books that I think help magnify the way that you can show up in the world as a leader, as a creative, as someone who is trying to make a positive force in the world. That's kind of the caveat of what this is. There's a lot of business training, a lot of business strategy books, but these are the 3 that I return to again and again and again. So let's begin, shall we? So the first one is actually, and hey, by the way, let me know that you're here, live or hashtag replay. Let us know in the comments below. And along the way, I'd love to know, have you read the Imagineering Workbook? It's really not a read. It's like a practice book. Like, of course, you knew I was going to do, nutty creative things. And look how worn mine is. It's like, I've got lots of things in it. What is the Imagineering Workbook? Well, honestly, it's exercises to shape your creative muscles. Okay. What this is put together by the Disney Imagineers, and it gets you a little bit into their creative process. And they really focus on you have to do things to change things, right? And sometimes our own selves get in the way because we are in the habit of doing something and we just want to do it like that again and again and again. But sometimes you need to shake things up, especially when you're going after a big dream or a big goal. So for example, this is one of my favorite ones right here. This is host yourself a mad tea party. So what does that look like? So for example, this was one of the, this is a show writer in the Disney Imagineer land. And he talks about if you're stuck planning the same old office event, or it's your turn to host another annual holiday, family get together, do it differently, use story as the organizing principle. Hi, Judy. Glad to see you here today. So what is this? Again, this is one of my favorite reads. If you want to have an up level in your life or business, the first one needs to be the Imagineering Workbook. So what this is, it helps you work out your brain a little bit differently. So they walk through how to do this process and they give you examples and they give you some guiding questions. So see, for example, at the end, while planning, refer to your story and ask what will strengthen the story experience. Again, I highly recommend it. There are multiple exercises in here. Some are fun drawing exercises. Some are more creative writing kind of exercises. This whole chapter is really great. It's called Getting in the Idea Zone. It's really great for teams and even your own self if you're trying to birth a new idea into being. So resource number 1, the Imagineering workout. Okay, what is my second resources that I turn to again and again that you want to have not in electronic form, but that you want to have in a full form? And this is my hardback version. I have a paperback version, but it's falling apart. So John Maxwell. Many of you know I'm a certified trainer, speaker, consultant with the John Maxwell organization. And I think he is probably one of the best, if not the best people writing and speaking and teaching about leadership over and over again. This particular book, The 5 Levels of Leadership, it really talks about the steps to maximize your potential. Each of you is a leader in your own right, in your own way, right? Excuse me, but sometimes we're not really sure how to activate that in a different way. So this really talks about your leadership game plan. What do you need to know? How do you do that? It has different exercises. It has ideas for you. One of my favorites, excuse me, is that he talks about is best behaviors on level 5, which is he takes you through the different leadership levels so you can identify where you are. And he talks at the beginning of the chapter, he says, leadership should always be about others, not the leader. So I say this often, you're not a leader unless someone's following you, right? So for those of you that really want to amplify your leadership and shift really from where you are to where you've been, I highly recommend this book. You can take it in small chunks. You can read it all the way through. You'll want to come back to it again and again and again. And what it will do is give you a clear picture of your leadership style and maybe help you hack or move up a level in your leadership and recognize some blind spots in that. So again, resource number 2, 5 levels of leadership. Again, in the comments, let me know if you've read or have the Imagineering workout. or John Maxwell's 5 Levels of Leadership. Third one. All right. I talk about Todd Henry all the time. It's really hard for me to choose just one book because everything he puts out. So highly recommend that you follow Todd Henry and figure that out in any way, shape, or form. He does great newsletters on Sundays. He has a great podcast called The Accidental Podcast. But this was his first book and my favorite, probably, if I had to choose one. It's called The Accidental Creative. You can see it's how to be brilliant at a moment's notice. Now, I don't know if you can see, but I have highlighted and made notes. I have written all through this book. This is actually my second copy because I tore up the first one so much. I have tabbed things, right? And so it's really great. And what it does is it really lays out to a framework, a system for you, whether or not you're a creative at all. But it lays out a system of how you can hack your brain and your time management system so that you can effort in a better way. It's really great to pay attention to your own process and the own way that you create and ideate in the world. Meaning that some of you think I'm not a creative. By the way, you are. That's a different topic of conversation. But when you're trying to do a new thing in the world, that means that you have to create different neurons here and you have to find a creative solution. So this is a fabulous book to do that. And it really helps you unlock how to do focus, how to think of relationships differently, how you manage your energy flow, what happens when you find yourself drifting, how to expect that yourself can do that differently. And quickly, what I want to go through is this section right here, which talks about getting started and how you do that within idea time. He actually gives you several resources that you can look at online and print out for you. And what he talks about is that he's motivated by challenge. I think a lot of us are motivated by challenge. And he really talks about that you want to ask yourself a series of questions like in the future, what is a solution to this problem? So you're already deciding that a solution has been found and you figure out what that is. His second question comes from the past and it's about assumptions. So what's presently keeping us stuck or in gridlock is his word. Where do we need to challenge the assumptions that we can't get past this? Really, really key thinking. And then he talks about conceptual, right? So what are some corresponding or collaborative solutions that I can come up to? Where have I done something similar and shown familiarity, which means I have the skills and the tools to do something different. And then finally, he talks about finding the concrete. That means the specific steps, how you can break it down so that you can come up with a new way. Again, highly recommend. So quick recap. You need this on your shelf. You need this on your shelf. And you need this on your shelf. And all of these will make you a well-rounded leader to do some creative solutions and get yourself unstuck. I'm Suzanne Castle. This is Training Tuesday, and I'll see you next week. And we will hack this, live on this, and let you unleash everything out into the world. See you soon.